2018. That one I had.
But good thing there are new.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2 p.m. Thank you for joining the Joint Division G and S workshop, Learn the Art Behind Great Leadership. You guys are here. You guys are fantastic. We should give all of you a big round of applause because you guys decided to invest your precious Saturday with us. Let's give ourselves a big round of applause. Yay! Thank you so much for being here. Now, before we start, let's go through some ground rules, shall we? First and foremost, I would like to invite all of you to switch on your camera. This is not a contest. This is a workshop. So we want more interaction with every one of you here. We want to see all your faces, all your beautiful faces, all your gorgeous faces. So this, by turning on your camera, you're also instilling confidence to our speakers, even though they are experienced, even though they are decorated. But the fact that you guys are able to interact with them, have that eye contact with them, I think it will give them that boost of confidence that they need. So that is rule number one. Rule number two, we appreciate you. Throughout the course of this program, you probably have a lot of questions to ask our panel. Hence, I would like you to hold that questions until our panel discussion, which is our Q&A discussion at close to the end of our workshop. Okay, so that the purpose of this is we can start on time as we have done, and we can end on time, which we all want. Okay, so this is rule number two. And rule number three will definitely be, please mute yourself, okay, until the Q&A session or during the break session where you can have discussion, so that we have a very smooth flowing workshop where everybody can learn the most and pick the most out from both this speaker. So are you ready to start this workshop? If you're ready, show me a thumbs up emoticon, or just show me a thumbs up for all those of you who've on the camera. Yay, all right, good. So leadership is not about title, positions, and flowchart. It's about one's life influencing another, said John Maxwell. And today we are deeply honored to have two great leaders in their own rights to share with us more on how to build membership, how to recruit and retain members in our club through good leadership, effective leadership. And both of them are highly decorated, highly experienced, known in Singapore Toastmaster circuit, and some of them even known in the world. Okay, but before that, we need to invite this important person, because without him, we will not have this workshop. So the upcoming speaker, okay, he is the one that put all this together. He is none other than our division club growth director. As a strong believer that any club can grow with not just the right tools and spirit, but with the guidance and camaraderie of fellow Toastmasters. It is with this strong belief in growth that he grew his club membership to its highest in history, as well as receiving international accolade as one of the top 20 clubs in the world for active membership and educational awards. He strongly believes that the two legendary Toastmasters today will impart sustainably. Let's put our hands together to welcome the dazzling, the decorated, the distinguished Toastmaster, my good friend, James Clifton. Over to you, James.
Thank you so much, Eric. Oh, guys, I hope you are excited. You know, all the time we suffer from having the inability to find a platform to speak. Toastmasters gave us that platform, and for me, I was very blessed. Division G gave me that platform, which is why I believe so much in giving back. Now, this time around, you know, with COVID, with the heightened securities, there's so many things that prevent us from being able to shine. But look, Division G is always here to support every single person in the district to be better. And today we have two amazing people, Amelia and Suchan. Without them, this workshop is not possible. Without you, my dear friends, the audience here, who have come to learn some knowledge, to gain that knowledge, to develop your own clubs or yourselves. Without you, this workshop is not possible. This division is not possible. Our division is the newest division. We've been saying that for a very long time. Yet, let me tell you this, We are a division that believes in developing everyone, even ourselves. No one here says that we are already at the top and we are the best. Nobody. But we always achieve to get better. Today's workshop is really about growth, development, retention, and mentorship. But the key word here, which is not from these four, is building relationships. You see, today is not just about the tools. It's about finding out about each and every one of us here, about learning from each other. So your questions are very important. By understanding these questions and seeing how it applies to us within ourselves, our personal lives, as well as our club, we too can develop better. Our greatest challenge is not being alone, my friends. No, it's being unable to fulfill the task that we want to. And we can only do that when we have a strong team with us. So look at the people in the screens today. This is a strong team. Every single one of you are here today to build up not just your team, but our team in Division G. I want to thank our trainers in advance because I know what they have to share is going to be fabulous. We have a fabulous TMD. We have a fabulous Zoom master. Everybody is going to be awesome today. And I'm really looking forward to this speech. Remember, at Division G, we are here to grow, not just as one division, but as one Toastmaster community. Over to you, Eric.
Thank you, James, for that inspiring address to all of us. Indeed, we are here to learn, we are here to grow, and most importantly, we are here to share. So here is the main event. Introducing first, this speaker joined AIA Toastmasters Club in 2008. As a member, she's the epitome of success and continues to be a role model to her fellow members in the club. Shuja made history by being the first and only member in the club thus far to make it to the District 80 International Speak Contest final, not once, but twice. She did the club proud in both contests by being the second runner-up in 2011 and first runner-up in 2018. In 2010, she became the president of AIA Toastmasters Club and led the club to its president's distinguished status, the highest accolade in Toastmasters International. In 2017, she was conferred the title of Distinguished Toastmaster. But Shujin doesn't just talk, she also walks her talk. She applies everything she learned into her profession, and in 2020, she has earned the Triple Crown in AIA Singapore Private Limited by being the first financial service consultant in her district and one of the few in AIA Singapore to become the AIA Corporate Solution Employees Benefit Specialist, AIA High Net Worth Prestige Cup Qualifier, and of course, the decorated $1 Million Roundtable Qualifier. She believes that as long as we put our hearts into our craft, we will be successful. Here to share with us how to build a robust mentorship system, let us give our warmest welcome to Division G success symbol, Distinguished Toastmaster Zhuo Shuzhen.
Wow, thank you, Eric, for that wonderful introduction. By the way, Eric wrote it, not me. In case you're thinking of the very lengthy introduction, I really want to thank Eric for writing it because I would have given a very, very short one. So yes, today I'm here to share with you how you can build a robust mentorship system. Why is mentoring and mentorship system so important? Can anyone type it in the chat group? I just want to ask, why do you think it's important? Anybody has any idea? I'm still waiting. It retains institutional knowledge. Great. For survival growth. Great. If no mentor, learning curve is too steep. Yes, guide new members. Thank you. Thank you. Passing down wisdom. Very, very good. So I think all of you realize that mentorship is so important to pass down, to guide new members for growth. And mentorship for the club itself, it's also very crucial. Why? Do you know that mentorship, if you have a mentorship system that is superb, you can use it as a recruitment tool. For Tamis Changkat, one of the things we talk about when we recruit new members is to boast about the kind of mentorship system we have in Tamis Changkat, and that distinguish our club from others. So we have members who join us just because they said, wow, Changkat, you all have training, you have all this mentorship system. I'm impressed. I think you are a club that I want to invest my time with. It is also a great tool for retention because just as what James said, you build members, you build the club, and you retain these members. And that's why today's topic is so relevant for us in this endemic period, because a lot of clubs are suffering huge loss in membership. And I hope today, by my sharing, you can gain some insight of how you can transform your mentorship system into one that can help you to recruit and retain your members. But before that, just a little bit more. I know Eric said a lot of things about me, but there's just one thing I wanted to highlight, because I'm also the chief mentor for Tampines Changkat Toastmasters for the last 2 terms from 2019 to 2021. I'm the creator of Tampines Changkat current mentorship system. And that is also one of the reasons why I got invited to be a speaker for this topic itself, because our Division G director, Margaret, she was my fellow AIA member, and she saw that, hey, this is the system that you do for Tampines Changkat. It's something we all can learn. So why don't you conduct a workshop and share with the division and the district, what are you doing for your club? And hence I'm here today. So now to the topic itself. Before I go there, I have a question for all of you. I want you to think back when you were a new member. Imagine today you're a new member. What would you want to get out from your mentor? Can I see some response? Imagine if today you were a new member, what would you want to get out from your mentor? What would you want your mentor to help you with? Same thing. Any response? Pause feelers, as in to improve the pause feelers. What else? So is that the only thing you all want from your mentor to help you improve or reduce your pause feelers? Okay, let me see the other response. I think tips to improve your presentation and communication. What's a mentor? Okay. Guide me to improve presentation skills, make speeches that last, to help in the pathway system, step by step, in doing a great job, reducing anxiety, stepping stone, great. And I know for Terence, he needs a mentor to make sure that when things goes wrong, he can blame the mentor. That's why I know he always does. He always introduce the mentor. Gerald is my mentor. Anything I do good is my credit. Anything that do bad is Gerald's fault. So I know, Terence, I know your reason for having a mentor. So great, guys. You see, all of you had different perspective of what you want out of from your mentor. Similarly, what today I share is what I think I want the mentorship experience for my own club members. So when you listen to my segment, take those that you think can best suit your club. There may be some that you may disagree with me. It's perfectly fine. Because remember, there's no perfect system. It's only a system that best suit your club. And it's also based on your experience or what you want your club membership experience or mentorship experience to be. So now moving to the first thing. So there are 3 steps that I applied to building a robust mentorship program. First, for my club, we had a strategy because I planned the strategy. I had a vision and I came up with some plans. And then I formed a team to help me and then I execute it. But for most other clubs, perhaps the first step is for them to form a team. Unless you have someone like myself or Terence, mastermind who are very good with ideas, then you can do the strategy, teams execute. If not, form a team first. Then you execute a strategy. You can brainstorm for the strategy together and then execute it. And this is, so moving on to the first step. So at the strategy stage, whether it's step 1 or step 2, it doesn't matter. The first thing you need to consider, if you are a club with existing mentorship system, I know AIA has one, Tampines Changkat has one. So the easiest thing is to examine what are the challenges of the mentorship system. Is it something that is we can rework it, rebuild it, or revitalize it? If it's in very, very bad shape, you know what? Just scrape the whole thing, build a new one. Really, really. But for clubs, obviously there are some clubs who are completely new. Perhaps they have no mentorship system yet. Then the question to really look into is, what would you want the mentorship experience to be? Maybe gather some of this information from your members. How would they want the mentorship experience to be? And when you have the idea already, then you can formulate a strategy to achieving that. And for Tampines Changkat, obviously we are a club with an existing program. So when I came on board, the first thing that I examined was the mentorship system. And a little bit backstory about the chief mentor role. in case somebody is wondering, what's the chief mentor role? It was actually a role that I created, or I invented this role. It's not in the TI manual, to help Tempest Changkat VPE in 2017, 2018, when I was the president, to assist them to relook into our mentorship system, because I found there were several problems, which I'm going to talk about it very soon. Unfortunately, it was the end of the term. By the time I appointed the chief mentor, I handed it over to the next team. The next VPE did not see the same problem that I saw. So nothing was done for 1 year after I created the role. And in 2019, the VPE of the next term came to me and said, Sujan, I need to talk to you. You remember you created the chief mentor role? So he had a chat with me and said, hey, so what's the role? What do you want the chief mentor to do? Because he's the new VP and he wants to know how to utilize this chief mentor. So I told him of the problems that I saw, which is I'm going to share in a short while. And he said, Sujan, can you share with me one person that you think can help take over this role as a chief mentor and revitalize this program? I thought for a very long while. I couldn't think of anybody except myself. So I said, me. And then he said, the magic question, would you be my chief mentor? Haha. So I sabo myself by creating the role and then getting the club to appoint me. And I said yes, because I knew that I wanted to see a change. I really wanted to see a change. And I don't mind getting my hands dirty to ensure that this change is processed and done with. So I became the chief mentor. And what are some of the problems that I mentioned earlier that I saw? First was a lack of a consistent system. So this is a very major problem, because before Pathway was launched, I know currently Pathway there is a mentoring program, but before that, at least in the last 10 over years I was in Toastmasters, I don't think my club has ever said that, hey, there's a system, a guide, how to mentor. So basically people, oh, you do CC already, competent communicator. Yeah, you are a mentor, congratulations. And then where do you think the new mentor actually derive their system from? They observe from how their mentor them. If you have a good mentor, that's perfect. But what if your mentor is one that is missing in action? Then very likely the same mentoring process will be applied for the new mentees. And that is not great. So I realized that there was this issue when members came up to me and said, because I was a president, they said, I heard from another new member that their mentor do something like that. But my mentor, I've never seen her do anything. Can I switch mentor? And that is the biggest challenge from VPE when members come to you and ask for a switch of mentor. So that was when I dived in deep and found out that, hey, I think we are lacking a consistent system to guide our mentors in how they can really perform their mentorship duties better. So that's one. So number two is there's a mismatch in terms of the mentor and mentee assignment. So it could be they're not suitable in terms of capability or compatibility. So for example, one very simple one, when I was a chief mentor, I texted a new member. He was assigned the most senior member, one of my founding member, a district champion, I said, there's no reason why he cannot assist a new member in the speech. But a few days before the speeches, as a chief mentor, sometimes I text a new member, how's your preparation? Do you have any question? And then the person will ask me a lot of questions about the objective of the project. And I was wondering what's going on. After 3 consecutive speeches, right, I decided to have a conversation with him. So I said, hey, can you share with me, is it that, have you been engaging your mentor? And then he said, actually, because my mentor, he's very experienced, right? So I find it very stupid to ask this kind of basic questions. So in short, he never asked. So I realized that it could be because the age generation gap is too big. He finds intimidating to ask the senior member this kind of questions. So perhaps, but he has no problem asking me, you see. So I don't know why. So I realized that it could be a mismatch. And then another example was we had this mentor-mentee, and this mentee always come to me again for feedback. So when I look at the mentor, I know why. Because the mentee herself, was a trainer, a coach. She speaks very well. But the mentor assigned was a new mentor. So I believe that the mentee could not see how this mentor can help her because she speaks better than the mentor. And I think that itself presents it perhaps a mismatch in terms of compatibility. So that is a very major problem for us. And obviously expectation, I realize sometimes mentor and mentee have different ideas how the mentorship relationship should be. Terence, we can take this question later. Mentors becoming inactive. That was another issue. I think some clubs may be facing this problem as well. So we had mentors whereby back then the system was a little bit more passive. So what would the VP do is they will put in the chat group the mentors, hey, this is the new members, who is available to take? Then silence, nobody reply. Then after a long while, one person will reply. Usually it's Kim Fong at the time. So Kin will always reply, okay lah, nobody take, I take lah. So after a while, only one person taking the mentorship, the new members is always Kin. And the rest of them are inactive. So upon having several conversations, I realized that the mentor themselves are feeling a little bit lost because they have no mentors and they are already have finished CC and they are not sure where to go next. They themselves are lacking a bit of motivation. I think they need some help to grow themselves, to help them grow. And that was one area that we saw because the mentors become inactive because we fail to continue to grow them. And the mentors are, some of them, the newer members who we ask them to step up to be mentors, they feel inadequate with their skill set, especially with Pathway. Why? Because Pathway stopped focusing on the technical aspects. So a lot of them are not so sure about crafting speeches, the technical skill set. And when Pathway was launched in 2017, a lot of my senior members, people are they're founders of the founder members of the club, they refuse to take on mentee. And the reason they say is, I don't know the Pathway system. I don't know how to guide. Remember somebody just now said, I want to know how to use the Pathway, and then the same problem, they dare not take because they don't know the Pathway at all, the projects, etc. So this is a real problem for a lot of clubs. And finally, the biggest challenge that as a very established club is we are losing organizational knowledge or organization learning. Because over the few years, we had several trainers, like those days we had Michael Wee, Lee Jin Wee, and then later on we have Koen Tan, Ted Chong, Sean Lee, who help us to build our organizational, institutional knowledge. And later on now we have Kin and Haider Taufik in Thames Shankat. Then what's next? Question mark. We have no idea at this juncture. So we need to think of a way to retain this organizational knowledge that our trainers, our members have. Thank you. So these are the 5 problems I anticipated and I foresee that it's going to be a major issue. And therefore, I came up with a strategy. First, I came up with a vision. This is my vision for 2019. Raising leaders, building pillars. I believe that we need to raise more leaders. So we have a lot of these mentors. They are 3 to 5 years at least with our club. We need to build them to become leaders and pillars of this club. The club cannot rely on just me, Kin. That's not great for a club. We need to raise more people to take on leadership role and become the pillar of the club. So this is my 4 strategy that I applied. I use the analogy of a house to talk about them. So first, you need to have the foundation, which for me is the system. You need a systematic approach to guide your mentors. Then you need to give them the skills upgrade so that they can become the pillars of the house or the club. And you need to put a roof over them because why? To complete the house, to ensure that they can weather rain and shine, you need a roof to complete the mentoring system and to allow succession planning. And finally, when the house is finally built, you need decoration in how furnitures, right? Furnishing, right? And that's what I call branding and growing the mentors pool. So these are my 4-step strategy. So, and this is to solve these 5 problems, right? So first problem, consistent lack of a system, right? I introduce a system, or I call this the best practice guide for all my Thames Shankat mentors. It's a 9-step system. I think they rebrand it to call Mastery in Mentoring. So first we have established trust and relationship, then needs gathering where you find out about the needs of the member. Introducing the TM program, this is also where I talk about some of the role holders and why it's important that you actually take on role holders because you acquire certain skill set through that. And context setting, by the way, I won't be covering this in detail because this take me 2 to 3 hours in the actual training for Changkat. I will just roughly run through it because at the end of the day, it's not what I'm using for my system, it's what you want for your club. So I'm just running through so you have an idea what's my system. So context setting, there's 2 parts to my club, to this part. One is relationship, one is learning. So I talk a lot about if you want to succeed in Toastmasters or to become better speaker, what do you need to do? Attend meeting regularly, and how can you be intentional about learning? And some of the values that I use, example, one of the values I share with them is commit first, panic later. So I always say that when your VP asks you to take on role, always say yes. It is okay, you don't know anything, never mind. Say yes first because it gives you opportunity to learn. I, as the mentor, will help you to make sure that you can perform that duty. So that's something that I set it up a lot for my VPE. Then when it comes to relationship, remember just now there's a lot of expectation mismatch. That's where I explore how my relationship with the mentee would be. So I will tell them whose role is it to contact? Is it to initiate the contact? Would it be the mentee or myself? So I make it very clear that for all my mentee, I need them to contact me because I have more than 10 mentees at this juncture. And I also tell them what's my commitment. If you contact me, I will definitely give you the time to help you to success. And that's me. So I also talk about designing an action plan. That is where I really tell them, okay, next 3 months, how about let's do 1 project a month? Straight away, they say, yes, okay, you text the VP now, like now. So I make sure they take out their phone, they text the VP. So when I do this, right, I really help the VP a lot to see ideas and everything. And step 6 is really going through the project objective, helping them the project. 7 is monitor progress and check-in. So let's say if my mentee disappeared for a few meetings, that's the time that I give them a hello, what's going on? How's things? Yeah, so I check in. And step 8, review goals after a period of time, like a milestone achieved, or maybe after 1 year, we review whatever they set into, is it still relevant? So that we keep them knowing where is the next step as a mentor. And then finally inspire them to eat more. And that's where I talk about there's beyond speaking in Toastmasters, there's leadership roles, and this can also help you to expand your career opportunities. Then I'll talk to them about some of the leadership roles they can take on. So this is my 9-step program. Once again, this is my program. It doesn't, your club does not have to follow all 9 steps. You can come up with the best practice on your own. For me, I adopted some of these steps from actually AIA Toastmasters. So kudos to AIA Toastmasters for teaching me a lot of these steps. And I combined with some of the other elements from Kin and my own experience, I put together this 9-step for my members. So have this kind of a guide. It helps a lot because when, oh, are you not seeing the screen? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Oops. Haha. No wonder Eric didn't just text me. Thank you very much, Eric. Next time, just let me know because, sorry, let me just go through. These are the 5 problems and this is the steps. My bad, I didn't notice it. Okay, can you all see the slides now? Yeah, Eric, is your picture, is that just a picture because you're always smiling at me, so I thought everything is okay. Okay, now you can see the slide. Thank you very much. So anyway, these are the 9 steps. If you want to take a picture, I will just pause there for a minute. Luckily, you didn't miss too much. Just talking without realizing it. So sorry about that. Okay, we'll just move on. Huh? So after conducting this workshop, first year, actually, all I did, remember I served 2 terms as chief mentor. The first year, all I did was just doing this 9 step and planning all of the other strategies. After conducting this workshop myself and Kin really conducted this workshop, we actually got feedback from the team. We want to know how mentors feel about having such a system. My most senior member, who's a founding member of the club, how many slides did we miss? Later I will show you all the rest of the slides. If not, I'll send the slides out anyway. What did the mentor say about the system? So the founding member, Distinguished Toastmasters Chong Ching Lee, she said this, I remember very clearly. I'm in Toastmasters for 27 years. This is very new to me. I wish that we had this earlier. 2 of my new mentors that we just appointed then, Wendy and Hamza, 2 years back, they said that, wow, Sujan, thank God you have this because now we know how to really guide our mentees. And then 3rd feedback came from a professional coach. He is Haider Taufik. He was already coaching people and he said that after 6 months of adopting this system, he contacted me. He texted me and said, sis, this system really works. And now I use it for my coaching clients as well. So ladies and gentlemen, when you have a system, not only the new members mentors get to benefit, the existing mentor, even for many years, can benefit. Even professionally, people can see the benefits of a system. So if you want to know more about the system, you can text me. I will hope I can help you out with something. But today I really don't have time to run through the entire system. So this is the 5 problems again for, just now I went through one by one, but I think y'all didn't get to see the slides. So this is the 5 steps. And remember, I will go through one problem and the solution. So mismatch of the mentor-mentee assignment. So what was my approach to it? when it comes to suitability and compatibility, right, what I did was I first went back to re-examine our mentors assignment process. So when new members joined, previously we just throw in the chat group, right, and whoever available they take. And there's always 1 or 2 person. So now the chief mentor myself, currently is no longer me, but previously I will conduct interview with the new member. And now they put in the VPE as well. Why? Because after the new mentor, the chief mentor interview, right, straight away the VP action plan with the chief mentor, and then come out with the first project slots and the appointment roles already. Straight on the first interview, they block them for the first project to make sure that they get started fast. Then with the interview, I will know their priorities, and then I will find a mentor who can best suit to mentor them and is available. Then of course, I will check with the mentor, this is the interview question, this is what they are looking at. Can you take them on? And because sometimes what happens is the person may have 3 things they want to achieve. And based on my mentor list, only got 1 person can do 2 things. I will still assign it, but I will also make it known to the mentor that, the last one, you can see how you can, refer them to another person to help. So sometimes we do that. And finally, once the mentor said yes, we will make a connection with the mentee and the mentor to ensure that there's no delay, because previously, sometimes the mentor thought the mentee will contact, the mentee thought the mentor will contact. 6 months later, renewal, the person disappeared. The contact was not made. So we solved that with the chief mentor role. And this is what the interview question I'll ask. Once again, I can send these slides out, so you don't really need to copy the questions. So I'll ask about the background, why they joined Toastmasters, why Tamis Changkat as a club, because I want to know what were they looking out for in terms of our club as well. What do they want to achieve out of Toastmasters? And I will ask them to rank by priority. And then what are some traits that they look for from a mentor? And with this, that I can better understand how to assign. Then with that, I will send a message once that is to connect them, right? This is a message that I actually sent out to a member who join us. I will talk a little bit about the mentor to introduce them and to beef up the credential of the mentor. And at the end, notice that I'll always mention this is my VPE, so for booking of slots, and then this is my VPM for membership related matters, so that they know if they have some issues, who to contact. So this is what I do as a chief mentor. So now I'm done with my system 1. I talk about 2 systems. One is the 9-step system, which is the one that you saw, the letter 1. Second is the review of the mentorship assignment system. Question to you now at this juncture. Does your club have a best practice guide for mentors? If you don't, who would be a suitable person that can help you to come up with one for your club? And if your club is really brand new, really don't have any someone with the expertise, who can you invite to your club to help you with it? So that's the question. Second question, regarding the second system, what is your current mentor-mentee assignment process? Think about it. Well, how are you assigning mentors and mentee? And is that process helping the members? And if not, maybe you want to review that. Okay, moving on to the 3rd and 4th question. I feel that it's pertaining to skill set. So my strategy was, the second strategy is to build the pillars by giving them skill set. So remember just now the 9-step program. So I trained for the first year. The second year, remember I mentioned there was a coach who texted me 6 months later that he's using it for his own coaching. His name is Haider Taufik. So he took over because he became a practitioner of the 9-step. So I say, bro, the next session you train. So I start session planning to him already. So last term, Haider was the one who did the mastery in mentoring 2 sessions for all our members. We open up to everybody, not the mentors, for this particular part, because we find that it's actually very useful based on the feedback for people, professional at work as well. So we wanted to give them this system that will help them as well as mentor at work. And for mentors only, we have 4 other sessions to help them elevate the skill set that we think a mentor should have. For example, in the area of evaluation and giving feedback, coaching techniques so they can coach their mentees. 3, advanced speech crafting techniques so that they can help their members to craft better speeches. And 4, we also want succession planning, train the trainers to identify the next trainers for Tamis Changkat. So this is what we have done in terms of training to give them the skill set to build them to be pillars. So strategy number 2, what can your club do to help your mentors acquire more skills? There are many ways. You don't have internal training. You could. There are a lot of district and division workshop. You're encouraging your mentor to attend some of these very good workshop, like the workshop today. Okay. If not, there are a number of workshops that Division G and S are conducting. One that is coming out 23rd October and several others. You want to send your mentors, ask them, encourage them to attend. That's one of the ways, right? Of course, you can have internal training, right, within your club. And if your club is so new that you don't have trainers, think about who are some of these people who are very good in what they do. Like when it comes to pathway, right? Eric Tan's name always flash. It's always Eric Tan, yay, pathway. So Eric is the first person I will ask, that pop up in my mind when I ever think about anything to do with pathway. So he was the one who conducted the just now the introduction of Toastmaster skills, right? I invited him to conduct it for the first 2 sessions because he's the expert at pathway, and I need to equip my members with pathway so that the mentors can teach the mentees pathway and the base camp how to use. So Eric was one person that I used because none of my members in the club know what pathway was at that time. So ask yourself, what can you do to help them acquire? And finally, the last strategy is pertaining to losing of organizational learning. What did I do? First, very important, I need to identify the next chief mentor. I've done it for 2 years already. So I need someone to replace me. And interestingly, I didn't find him. He found me. So what happened is one of my committee member, the one who became a trainer, he was very, he really adopted the system so much that he really saw the value in this entire system I built. He volunteered to be the next chief mentor. He actually came to me and said, I want to be the next chief mentor. And ta-da, my next chief mentor. And obviously, enrolling him into a vision was easy because when you have a committee members that was with you through every step of the building of the system, they know every reason why you do one strategy, what's the reason. They already got the buy-in. It was not difficult. So when I form a team, I always form a team whereby I see these are potential people that can be my next successor. I also identify and train the next batch of trainers. So this year, every October, November, Tamis Shankar will have our speechcraft training. This year, we had 3 or 4 new trainers. They are all from my mentors group that we identified, and they will be training in together with Kin Fong. So we are building the next batch of trainers. And this is the last thing that we did in the Zoom setting. It allows us to video record all the training section last year. So 6 training, we recorded every single one of them, and we put it in a Google Classroom. At this point of time, I just want to quickly show you how that looks. So can y'all see this? Just want to make sure that now y'all can see this. Eric, can y'all see?
Yes, we can.
So these are the trainings that we have conducted, and one of my team members broke it into bite size, throw it in here. So example, let me just show you coaching fundamentals. That's on the specific date. We have the slides here. So we have the different parts of the segment. Let me just, for example, show you how that works. So example, if my members want to just hear a specific segment to review the mentors, they can just click on it. Just
starting to coach. If people ask you, oh, what's the difference? Are you mentoring me, coaching me, or consulting? What is it? What's the difference? So even if you're not a consultant, you're not a mentor.
Okay, anyway, today's session is not to show you that, but it's just to show that this is the system. It's very easy to use. So your club can consider whether it is for mentoring or even for your own club's organizational knowledge database to compile something like that. So don't waste the training. It's not like if Eric in AIA always conduct training, why should we not video that and put it into our database? So this is something that I think really, really will help. So strategy 3. What can your club do to retain your organizational knowledge? What can y'all do? Is it video all the trainings? But please ask for the permission of the trainers. So these are videos are put together because the 2 trainers agreed. So let's say if you ask Eric to your club and then you do pathway and then you record it and you distribute to all your members without his permission, that's not great. So please seek the permission, okay? So think about what can your club do to retain your organizational knowledge? Can you train more people? Can you find successor? Can you build a system, a resource hub for your members? Document all this workshop so that, down the road, you always have all this material for your members to learn from. And finally, strategy 4, the last part, the branding part. So this is the last bit of it already. So stay with me, guys. So the last bit was about reframing the mindset of mentors and members. So one thing that I didn't quite understand in Toastmasters is like, leadership roles, right? Every year they want to find exco. We need to beg our members. Can you be, please? And I don't understand that, because here is an opportunity for them to grow and to really learn skill set that they can apply in their workplace. But yet every year I see a lot of clubs scrambling, and I think something to do with the mindset. Same thing in Tamish Shankar at one point, mentoring. I feel like we need to beg people to be mentors, and I don't think that should be the way, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing, by right, we want mentors to join us so that we grow them. And that's the one thing that I want to differentiate when I became the chief mentor. So I started doing a branding exercise for the mentorship program and make it an exclusive and privileged system, which means previously, it seems like the moment the person completes CC and they can become a mentor. But look, a lot of them have completed DTM and cannot craft a speech. I have known of DTM who can't speak. So here's the thing, does that mean upon achievement of a title means the person is good enough? I think that's something that my club decided to re-examine. So we decided to come up with certain criteria for our mentors to make sure that they are of caliber to join us. And I wanted people to apply to be part of us. And how did I do that? I mass sent out the training workshop. And those who wanted to attend them but are not part of my mentor had to apply with me, and will have an interview with them. And I will ask for their commitment to become a mentor. And even if they are not yet at the level, meaning that they haven't acquired the necessary criteria, I allowed them to attend the workshop with the promise that they will be our mentor. So a number of them became my mentor this term, about 6 of them. I think that's not too bad for this system. And of course, with that, they have access to our trainings, on the digital trainings, and recognition as a mentor. Okay, so this is what I do to brand the mentorship system. Instead of every year begging people to become mentor, we want to grow these people. We want to help them as well. So this is the mindset shift that I did for my club itself. So strategy for branding. What can your club do to grow the mentors pool? At this point of juncture of time, I would also like to qualify that some people may not like this idea about the branding, because they may feel that, hey, like that you alienate some members. Look, I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm trying to identify people who are willing to commit with us, to spend their time, and I'll be most happy to help them to grow as well. For membership growth is VPE role. My role is to help to grow mentors. I like to highlight that. So once again, remember my disclaimer, if you don't like it, you don't have to execute the same plan. So that's my 4 levels of strategy. At this juncture, I know that's a lot to take, but basically a summary of it is a system for people to guide the process, skill set upgrade for the mentors, succession planning, and protection of your organizational knowledge, and then how do you brand or grow your mentor pool. And that itself sums up 4 strategies to achieve my 5 problems in the club. Then step 2, remember my step 2 was to form a team. So remember there was training involved, so I got Keen and Haider, the 2 trainers in my club, to take care of the training. And then I have a lady in white, her name is Tui Pam. So she helped me to execute all the training program, from marketing to promoting to registration, everything else, so that I can focus on the planning. And I got remember the Google Classroom, very beautifully done up. It was by Howie, who is the person opposite to Tui. So that man folding the arms in the middle. So that's Howie. And the lady at the bottom in red, she is Sit Yue Jia, because this is the first time we implement such a system. We actually wanted feedback from mentors. So she's the one who collects some of the mentors' feedback after attending the workshops. And obviously, I didn't miss out my president, Wendy, and my VP, Hamza, who was last year president and VP, currently the IPP and president of the club. So these are my team. It took us 8 people to execute it. So once again, if your club only have a few members at this juncture, you may not be able to execute everything, but you can always use external resources. And in the group, in the Zoom chat itself, I know there are a lot of good trainers like James, like Eric, and like Terrence. Yeah, these are very good people to ask for. Of course, certain training I might be able to assist. So step 2, teams. Are there any members in your club that can help in executing the strategy? Who are they? What are their expertise? For me, I know my members very well, so I put them in the right place. Yeah. Finally, remember, successful people never reach their goals alone. They do it together. So step 3, execute and monitor. That's really the last step. And actually, there's really nothing much to talk about. It's really once you have the strategy and the team, right, everything flows in. You just let them run the thing. I only have a regular review every 2 months or 3 months with the team. And on my part, I only do the enrollment part. And the whole year, I only do the enrollment process. Remember the enrollment, the new members join that process. That's all I did as a chief mentor last year. Because I planned everything, I delegated it. Finally, I want to leave you all with this quote. 94% of the problems in business are system-driven and only 6% are people-driven. So right now, if you have a mentorship system and you say, hey, it's lousy because the people are lousy, the mentors are lousy, we look into it. Most likely, the system is the one that is a problem. If you can give them a system to support the mentors and to grow them, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure your mentorship system or program in your club will be very successful. So with that, I think I may have overrun a little bit. I'm back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Su Zhen. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you for your sharing. I thought it was valuable. Indeed, all of us, we need to remember that in every implementation that we have for the club, it's always good to have strategy, to have a team, and most importantly, you need to execute as well as to monitor. Okay?
Eric,
So I noticed there are a couple of questions. Yes, there are a couple of questions for you, Shu Zhen, but is it okay that we leave it to the Q&A?
yeah,
So that I promise them that we can answer that during the Q&A.
that would be great. No, I wanted to just say that I will put my slide into a PDF and send it out because I think yours missed out some of the slides at the front. It isn't a lot, but anyway, I still want to send it out. I'll put it in the chat in a while. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, up next, we have our second part of this workshop. This speaker is a 3 times Vice President membership, division trainer, and a Toastmaster looking to create new memories. As an international branding coach and corporate trainer, she has witnessed how relevant information coupled with the strategic application resulted in sustainable transformation in the lives of her clients around the globe. Today, she is here to share her humble experience with us. This next speaker is proficient in both persuasive influence and motivational strategy pathways. If you want to know more about her, you just remember there are 3 important things that you can remember her by. First, she's a renowned trainer. Second, she's a dedicated Toastmasters. And third, she's a filial daughter. Okay, so here to share with us the art of recruitment and retention, the amazing and talented Toastmaster, Amelia American. Let's put our hands together for Amelia.
Thank you very much, Eric, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome each and every one of you. Welcome everyone to this sunny Saturday, and we are all learning, we are creating memories, and I like to live my life by knowing that I'm creating memories, creating experiences, because at the end of the day, what is our end goal, right? What is it that we want to achieve? 6 months down the road, 1 year down the road. Although we know that, in Toastmasters, we operate by this term by term basis, but what we see oftentimes is our members, members join in between the term, and then members drop out in between the term, become inactive and things like that. So these are things that we see a lot. So today we're going to be focusing and talking a lot about the art of recruitment as well as retention. All right, so I know we have only 40 minutes, very, very short duration of time. So in the next 40 minutes, I'm just going to go snapshot right into it. 3 things. One is we're going to talk about how to attract prospect members by branding your club outstandingly, if that's even a word. But you get what I'm trying to say. Secondly, we're going to be talking about how to interview our prospects to engage them in a long haul, right? So don't just come in, do your speeches, and then disappear, right? We want to do like a long-term planning with them. Thirdly is how to really retain and inspire our members to learn, dream, do, and become more. Okay, so these are tools that I've used in my own personal venture as a business owner, as well as in my exco journey in the different clubs that I've been in. Of course, there will be certain tools that may or may not be suitable for you, But what I can suggest is take what's applicable, take what makes sense to you, and throw the rest out the window. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is really to share with you a few different concepts, but choose the one that best suits you. Okay, right. So next thing is this. Does this sound like you? If it does, let me know in the chat box by saying yes. Okay, so I know that whether this sounds like you or not. First question, do you experience decreasing members and wonder where is your next prospect member gonna come from? If you do experience this, just type yes in the chat box so that I can see. Yes, Grace says yes. Okay. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, cool. How about this? Do you secretly wish that more people know the worth and the value that one can gain from joining Toastmasters? If it's a yes, let me know in the chat box. Yes, okay, wonderful. Thirdly, are you spending too much time on Toastmasters related activities? Too many hours, too many activities, burning yourself out? Does this sound like you? Okay, some of you. Okay, yes, with 3 exclamation points. Yes and no. Okay, cool. So this, by just asking these questions, just for me to kind of do a temperature check, right? To know whether you are in the right room. And for those of you who said yes to 1, 2, or all 3 of these questions, you're definitely in the right place. All right. So what is really the problem here is that we are stuck in this old model, right? We're very used to how Toastmasters is being run in the physical setup, right? And we haven't really moved to this new, highly leveraged, highly productive, and highly predictable model of attracting and retaining members. So this is really what I want to dive in today. Once we move into the new model, what we're going to see is that we're going to be able to attract prospect members. Prospect members meaning people who want to find out a little bit more about Toastmasters, want to kind of join and see what this is all about. And it's going to be coming in a more predictable manner. Okay, of course, who wouldn't want this, right? This is just some of the screenshots that I've taken from my club's Facebook page, whereby people are requesting and asking, how do I join? How do I be a part of this? Of course, everybody would love to receive tons and tons of messages like this, right? Except the one in the middle. This one is probably a technical glitch, but I'm just trying to emphasize and show you, put the point across here. But we always want to have people who want to join us and want to hear what we are about, figure out what we are all about. So this is something that we can look forward to having. Also, when we move to the new model, as a club, we will be able to achieve more through systems and without doing more stuff as individuals. Because a lot of times I've seen a lot of EXCO members who are doing so much for the club, and then before they reach the end, they are already so burnt out, and then they go MIA and they ghost the whole club entirely. So that is not what we want to do. So we want to build kind of an environment, kind of a culture in the club that keeps people coming back. Okay, because at the end of the day, let's face it, all of us want to have fun. All of us want to have a fruitful time, a fantabulous time, as well, how I like to say it, fantabulous, right? Fantastic and fabulous at the same time on our journey here in Toastmasters. Don't we want to have that, right? So before I dive into the new model, is it okay with all of you if I share with you a little bit about me? Would that be okay? If that's okay, just let me know in the chat box. Or give me a thumbs up. Okay. Cool. Okay, just a quick one slide, okay, just to show you, just to share with you a little bit more. So as what Eric has shared, I've been a vice president of membership in 3 different clubs. NTU, where I first started out my journey as a Toastmaster, and then I went into Nisun East Toastmaster, and that is where James, Peter, Haziq, and a few people are from there. And right now, I'm in Pasir Ris Elias Toastmasters Club. So the best part about this whole Toastmasters community is that even though we move, some people don't move, but I have moved right from club to club to club. But the best part is that we are creating memories in all these different clubs. And despite me moving, I feel like I still have friendships. I still have close friends that I can reach out to for anything. So being not just an EXCO, but a member in different clubs has brought me a lot of friendship, a lot of friends and all of that. together with my team, right? Together with James and the whole Expo team, we actually brought Nee Soon East to the top 20 in the world for active membership, right? So that's something that we want to dwell deeper as well in today. I've been called the Millennial Personal Branding Queen. I like to believe it, but I'm also trying to, work my way and keep on learning to live up to such a big name. So for me, I specialize in online and offline branding for people who are looking to, transit in their careers as well as entrepreneurs. And more recently, these are the concepts that what I'm about to share with you today have also led me to being poached by lecturers from 10 years ago where I used to come from Temasek Polytechnic, and my lecturers are seeing what I'm doing, and they came to me and they were like, Amelia, come and lecture with us at Temasek Polytechnic. And so I'm one of the youngest lecturers in Temasek Polytechnic. But long story short, these concepts that I'm about to share with you, this new model, are things that you can apply into not just your Toastmasters Club, but into your life as well. Okay, so we're going to kill a few birds with one stone. The first aspect of this new model is really about attracting prospect members, right? We want to really kind of ninja our way into the minds of our prospect members. Okay, so before anything, let's talk about attraction. Okay, I've seen some clubs who are actually running advertisements, running ads to attract members. But before you think about, all this fancy stuff, sales funnels and all this, what really matters is us understanding what these people want. Right? We must know our prospect members intimately. And when it comes to acquiring new prospects, the most basic point that we want to start as is understanding who they are. Once we understand this, only then we can kind of tailor the message to them. Okay? Tailor the message, tailor the marketing message in that sense to the audience directly. And that is pretty much what we do in our speeches anyway, right? We try to relate it to our audience. We try to, relate it through experience, through personal stories. That's basically what we are doing. So why don't we use this same analogy, this same experience when it comes to branding or marketing our club, right? So knowing them intimately can really be the difference between winning their hearts or them losing their faith in the Toastmasters movement entirely. Okay, so I wanted to share with you this blueprint that I teach my clients outside of Toastmasters, but I feel that it's very relevant with us here as well. And I like to call it the bigger economy blueprint. Okay, so let me explain. So the bigger economy blueprint really breaks down the entire audience of buyers. Okay, so we have people who are buying into this Toastmasters community, right? So we look at this whole audience as buyers, and I break them down into 4 large categories. Okay, so let's start at the top of the pyramid. So in any given market at any given time, only 3% of people are in the buying mode. Okay, so for example, if you pick up a newspaper, you watch a television ad, or you do a Google search, you will see a lot of ads shouting out, we have the biggest range of services, we have the best prices. And all these ads are actually directed to that 3% who are ready to buy. Okay, and the reality is this: competition online is at an all-time high, right? It's fiercely competitive. And the mainstream way that everybody is looking to solve this problem is to target the people who are most likely to buy your membership and to join your club, right? So just imagine if you were to split up this 3% of easy prospect members between all the clubs, how many new members can we get, right? The real attraction comes in the next 37%, the next 2 components here, which are 17% of them are in the information gathering mode, and 20% of them are aware of the problems that they are facing. Okay, and the biggest component, as you can see right at the very bottom, are people who don't even know they have a problem. And this is a whopping 60% of people. Okay, so once you understand this bigger economy blueprint, what you can do is to soup up the majority of prospect members that's being ignored practically by a lot of clubs out there, because everybody's targeting that 3%, that top part, right? So the goal really of this whole bigger economy blueprint is to move the 97% up the pyramid faster. Because believe it or not, even disinterested prospects can turn into highly engaged members if we know how to approach them. Okay, Just like what Sujan is saying, it's all about systems. How can we put in systems in place to nurture this 97% and bring them up to the top of the pyramid? Okay. So the best part of this whole idea of this bigger economy blueprint is that we are able to touch base and we are able to reach our prospect members before other people do. Because what we are doing is we are sharing with them, we are giving them value along the way to make them first aware that there is such a movement. And then, okay, they know that they want to improve their public speaking. Okay, now that I want to improve my public speaking, now let me gather some information. Once I'm in that, information gathering, I start to speak to people. People talk about this Toastmasters thing. Yes, I've heard of it, but what exactly is it? Then they move up. So we try to bring people up higher and higher in the pyramid. Okay. And definitely the next question you probably will be asking is how? How do I bring people up this pyramid? Okay. And as the saying goes, right? Enter the conversation that is already taking place in the minds of the consumer. Okay, so in our case, is our prospect members, right? We need to kind of uncover what is their deepest, most primal desires. Why would they join Toastmasters, right? We want to delve into their fears, their hopes, their dreams, their wishes. Okay, and we need to look beyond what is the obvious thing, because a lot of people will say, oh, Toastmasters is public speaking. But we need to go deeper than that. What is it that they are fearing? Is it something in their organization that they have experienced that then make them feel that, hey, public speaking is not something I want to do? Or is it in their leadership career? What is it? Figure out what is it that they're thinking, what is it that they are feeling, and how you want them to act. Okay, so what we want to do is really to read the prospect member's mind. And getting to know all these crucial details is what I like to call the insider code. Okay, this is another concept that can help you to dig up what exactly people are looking for. Because the moment we can give them what they are looking for, they will build that level of trust with us. And then they want to explore more, they want to find out more. Okay, so we want to give them value in that sense. Okay, so what is this insider code that I talk about? Here are a few things that you can do to figure out what is going through in the minds of your prospect members. Okay, firstly, think of 1 to 2 major keywords or search terms, right, in the Toastmasters context. Okay, assuming they don't know about Toastmasters, what will people search? Right, go to Google, LinkedIn, YouTube, Amazon. There are so many different platforms that people are on. Right, go where you think your audience hangs out. If you are a corporate club, where would your employees or where would your team members be to figure out that you have a Toastmasters group, a Toastmasters club? If you are a community club, where would you go? Where would your people be hanging out? And of course, now with this whole endemic situation, people may not be out and about. So a lot of people may resort to this social media platform. And this is where the real gold mine is. Okay, so what we want to do as we are doing this research, right, is answering these few questions. Okay, figure out what is it that your audience are saying. Maybe about public speaking, maybe about confidence, maybe about leadership. What are they saying? What are they feeling? What are they happy with or unhappy with? What are their concerns, their questions? And by asking all these things, or by getting the answers to all these questions, is us using their exact same words to them. And when we speak their language, what happens is that they build their level of trust with us. Okay? Okay, so what we want to do is we want to look for patterns, look for themes, pay close attention to the language that they use. Okay? With what else is already existing out there that can help them with their public speaking, that can help them with their leadership? What else is already out there? And what are their experiences with those things? Once we are able to figure out those gaps, those shortcomings, that is our winning ticket. That is our winning ticket to the hearts and the minds of the prospect members that we want to reach. And here's the biggest gold mine that is very underrated. Okay, Google, Bing, Amazon, they always have this predictive text. Predictive, you type in a few words and then, right? So these are what people are searching for. So if you want to know what are the questions that are going on in the minds of our prospect members, these are the questions. Okay, so people are looking for example, if you were to type how to improve public speaking, these are the things that people are looking for. Of course, you could search for anything, and this is really where the gold mine is. Okay. With this, you are able to find out what people are looking for. But once you know what people are looking for, once you have what they want in your mind, the next step is to be able to know how to get you on their minds, right? How to make them know that, hey, Toastmasters exist. Hey, we can help you. Hey, we have this pathway or this learning journey that you can go on. How do we get into their minds, right? And this is where I like to introduce what I like to call the authority building framework. Okay, authority building framework. Okay, now that we already know what they want, right? We already know what these prospect members want. How do we get into their minds? Okay, so in this situation, if you look at your screen, right now, your prospect members are at this stage. This is their current state. Okay, so what we need to identify is where are they right now and where they want to go. Basically, it's just like a GPS system, right? Before we get to a particular destination, we need to know where we are right now and where we want to go. If not, the GPS will never work. Okay, so let's say this is the journey that our prospect wants to go on. Current state to desired state. Okay, so when we meet someone for the very first time, whether it is on social media, in person, truth be told is that the level of skepticism of any individual is at its highest. Okay, and their level of trust in us is at its lowest. It's fair, right? It's normal. They are strangers anyway. We are strangers with them. They are strangers with us. So the whole idea of this authority is really having the power and the control and having the upper hand of things. And in order for us to build authority around our brand, our club, we need to be able to reduce the skepticism in us and increase their level of trust in us. Okay. Now, the next step, how do we reduce this skepticism and increase this trust? Right? The next step really is to map out the required steps that they are going to need to move them from where they are right now, their current state, to the desired state. So let's say, just for the sake of our explanation, there are 4 steps. Okay, step 1 through 4. So once you've figured out what are these 4 steps, we want to be giving them value. Okay, this could be in the form of a video, it could be in the form of a PDF, or any type of value content that people can use into their lives right away. Okay, and what this does is really it helps them to go ahead and implement it and start seeing little mini results along the way. Or at the very least, they will feel good about themselves because they are now moving closer towards their desired state. Okay, so for example, at this stage, once we have given them one piece of value, maybe it's a PDF of how to increase your confidence. Example, okay? They have downloaded the PDF, they have used it, they have read it through, and then they have started to use this, few pointers that you've given to them. What happens is that the level of trust, the level of skepticism goes down, the level of trust starts to build. Okay, so we all know the level of skepticism these days is rampant, right? It's because of the internet, and everybody is like an expert, a guru, and things like that. So we can't blame people for being skeptical. But how we can reduce this skepticism is by providing value. The one way for you to stand out is to provide value and really taking a keen, genuine interest in providing a solution to your specific target market. Okay, be it your employees, be it your community and things like that. Okay. Now, the next thing would be another piece of value content. Okay, so throughout this whole process, the main aim is to lower the level of skepticism while simultaneously increasing our status and increasing our trust in their minds. Okay, so every single step, you will see that the level of trust goes up, the level of skepticism goes down. So you get the drift, right? You get the drift of where this is going. So as we give more and more value to people, people start to begin to trust us. Okay, and all we need to do really is just to share value. Share, right? That's what we're all doing here, right? We have acquired knowledge through the experiences that we've had, and now we just need to share. And before you know it, prospect members will start coming to you instead of you having to hunt them down. The next thing that I want to share with you is once you get people to come on a call with you. So like what Suchan was sharing just now, it could be, the vice president of membership who does this call. It could be any exco member, the president, whoever. But what we want to do is, as we get them on the call, we need to, of course, brand ourselves in a certain way. Okay, but of course, it's not just oh, why do you want to join Toastmasters or things like that. Here are some questions that I would love to share with all of you that has worked for me and my club. Okay, so question number 1 is this: figure out why they reached out to you. Figure out why they reached out to you. Why your club in specific? Because as we know, there are so many clubs in the whole entire Singapore or the entire globe. There's so many clubs. Why did they choose to reach out to you? Okay, so this will be usually this is my first question that I ask them. Be it through text or whether when you get on a call with them, ask them, why did they reach out? Okay, the second question that you want to ask is this. You can ask a few questions, but basically what you want to do is you want to assess where are they now. Okay, just like that whole journey that they were on, right? Where are they right now? Where is their current state? Okay, and usually in their current state, they will be facing some sort of challenges. They will be facing some sort of difficulty. Most of the times what I hear is that, people have had their own mini presentations in their offices and they may not have done it as well as they expected it to be. It did not turn out the way that they wanted it to be. So because of that, they're like, you know what? Because of that, I want to improve so and so and so skills, whatever skills that they want to improve. So really assess where are they right now and understand the challenges that they're going through. Then the next piece is we want to understand where they want to go, right? Understand where they want to go, but not just where they want to go, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I want to increase my confidence, I want to sharpen my leadership my leadership skills, or I want to be able to speak in front of an audience without feeling much jitters. I want to be able to be in control of my nervousness, so and so and so, whatever, right? More importantly, it's a question that is people don't really ask is what is the impact of their goals in their lives, or what is the impact of their goals in their career or in school or wherever they are. So what if you achieve these goals? Okay, for example, I want to increase my confidence. Sure. So what? Once you reach that level of confidence, so what does it do for you? Okay, what does it do for you? What impact does it create? So once people are able to tie in where they are right now, the challenges that they are facing, where they want to go, the goals that they are getting, how can we now link this to up? What is the journey that we can then bring them on? Okay. The next piece that we want to share with them over the call is to really share with them about your club. Okay, every club will there are many similarities across the clubs, yes, but share with them, what is your club about? Why does your club exist? Okay, so for example, you could share something like, our club is a cozy, conducive club. We are a family fun club. We are a goal-oriented club of highly motivated individuals who are committed to sharpening our public speaking skills or our leadership skills so that we perform where it matters, be it in your workplace or your school or wherever it matters to you. So share with them, what is your club all about? Share with them, why does it exist? Okay, so these are things that people want to know, right? When they get on a call with you or when they are, reaching out to you, what are you guys about? Okay, so we want to share that. The next piece that we also want to share with them is, who is it for? Okay, there are of course certain clubs that are, they have a specific target group. Some are more for public, for public to join. And then we also want to share with them how does it work. So we want to share with them the meeting frequency. Some people, they cannot commit too often for whatever reason, or some people who prefer it to be every week. Okay, so share with them meeting frequency, the meeting structure, what do we have, what kind of trainings we do, the learning route or the pathway is what we call, right? The learning journey that they will be on. So they want to know with more clarity. I tell you, a mind that has more clarity makes better decisions, right? Same thing for us. Before we do anything, before we want to know what we are going in for. So give them the clarity. Share with them exactly what they are in for. Okay. And then the third piece here is how can Toastmasters help you in achieving your goals? Once you share with them about your club, how does it work? What is it all about? Who is it for? Now, how can we help you achieve your goals? So these are questions I feel that over the interview or the calls that I've made that really helped me to kind of draw commitment into the club. So when these members do join us, right, they are on the ball, they are on the go, right? So speeches every month, okay, and then alternating with an appointment role. So they need to understand, they need to have clarity of how Toastmasters can help me. Because if they don't see how Toastmasters can help them, then why invest time in it at all, right? A bit no point, right? Like all of us, time is so precious. Why choose to spend time in this particular club or invest your time in this particular club? Once you know how Toastmasters can help you, it's a commitment drive, basically. Okay, then the third part is really to bring it to a close. Okay, so a question that I really like to ask is, so when would you like to start? Okay, because some people can, this is good, that is good, everything is yeah. But wait and see. Okay, so ask them when they want to start. Okay, and at this stage, what I also like to do is to remind them, recap. Okay, what are the challenges that they are facing? What are the goals that they want to achieve? And how soon would they like to close this gap? How soon would they like to start making baby steps towards their goals? Okay, and at this stage as well, you will also get some objections, and this is very normal, right? Very, very normal. You'll get some objections, and the most common ones that I've heard is time objections, cannot commit for whatever reason, money objections. Okay, so when it comes to time objections, maybe they say, oh, I'm very busy, this is the audit period, or my work schedule is uncertain, I'm working from home, my boss can call me at 9 p.m, whatever. So my question to them would then be, if not now, when would you be able to find the time to overcome these challenges and to achieve these goals? When would you find the time? Okay, so I like to paint this picture of like a heaven island and a hell island. Okay, heaven island is where things are great, everybody is happy, you love what you do, blah, blah, blah. Hell island is where it's painful, it's hot, and you want to get out of there. So a lot of times we like to paint a picture of like, hey, Toastmasters is a heaven island, right? Toastmasters is the heaven island. You get to learn new things, you get to equip yourself with skill sets, you get to network, you get to this, you get to that. But what we want to do is we also want to spend time on the hell island that they are on right now, in their workplace, in their school place, whatever. How painful is the challenge that they are facing? If it's not painful enough, they're not going to budge. This is just the psychology of human. If it's not painful enough, they are not going to move. So we want to also spend time and really harp and press on the pain points that they are having. Okay, you share with me that you are facing these challenges. Sure. What are you going to do about it? How long do you want to live with these challenges? Or how soon do you want to start working and achieving the goals that you have set for yourself? Okay, if money is an objection, then you ask them, how much is this goal worth to you? Okay, how much is this goal of becoming a more confident speaker, becoming a better leader, better this, better that? How much is this worth to you? Okay, so these are some questions that I have personally used in my own venture, as well as when I onboard or when I do introductions to prospect members in that sense. Okay, I see quite a number of questions, so I hope I can get to them later. Okay, cool. The third piece that I wanted to share with you here is all about retaining and inspiring members. Okay, so retaining is something that I know a lot of us have experienced troubles with, especially during this whole pandemic situation, and then all of us going online. A lot of members are dropping out because they prefer the vibe and the whole feel of a physical meeting. Yeah, I bet a lot of clubs are going through the same thing, and I feel you completely. what we want to focus on here is this. Instead of comparing the vibes of a physical meeting versus the vibes of an online meeting, okay, instead of doing that, right, let's not compare apple and orange. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, but what we want to do is how can we liven up the online space, or how can we make it more, of an fulfilling or more worth your time, a more fruitful time in an online setting. How can we do that? Okay, and that is part of this retaining and inspiring members. So for me personally, I feel that when members feel inspired, when members feel motivated, automatically they are being retained. Automatically they will feel engaged. They want to participate, they want to speak, they want to take up appointment roles. They just need to feel that they are here for a purpose. Okay, so I wanted to share these wheels of needs. So this is something that I discovered when I attended one of Tony Robbins' events when he came to Singapore a couple of years ago. And this is what he calls the wheel of needs. So every single human being has 6 needs. Okay, we have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That is another concept altogether, which I think people are more familiar with. But this wheel of needs is very interesting in a sense that this tool is something that people can use to explain why we do what we do. It also helps us to explain or it helps us to gain a level of understanding about a human behavior that we haven't really truly appreciated. So this is a tremendous tool of helping, or rather of knowing how to help people. Okay, so this you can see 6 different needs, right? And there's a level to it. So the top 2 will be certainty and variety. These are the first 2 needs that we need to have in our lives. We definitely need to have a certain level of security, right? A certain level of certainty in our health, in our relationships, in our financial life. We need to have that level of certainty. Okay, when things are uncertain, that's why we're a bit kalang kabut, right? We get a bit jittery, we're a bit, all over the place. We need to have a certain level of certainty. But at the same time, as human beings, we need to have a certain level of uncertainty. And this is where, human beings can get a little bit more complex, right? We need to have a certain variety. And that's where we love surprises, right? I'm sure a lot of us here would love surprises. As much as we love certainty, to some extent, we love uncertainty as well. So we also, the need for variety or uncertainty in this case is also important because we need to challenge our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And this varies from person to person, right? What that means to you in terms of variety, in terms of uncertainty. Okay, so these are the first 2 levels of needs. The next 2 are significance and love. Significance, essentially in the context of Toastmasters, is really to recognize our members, make them feel like they are appreciated. Appreciate them for the roles that they're taking up, appreciate them for participating in maybe contests, recognize them for achievements that they have had, no matter how big or how small. And another motto that I love to live by is to celebrate all wins. Keyword is all. Okay, because us as human beings, we have the tendency to be like, oh, this is such a small thing. Like people don't see this as something significant. No, we want to celebrate all wins. Okay, so no matter how big or how small an achievement of your member is in your club, acknowledge it, recognize it, appreciate them for the effort, the time, and the all of the things, blood, sweat, and tears that they're putting into this. Recognize them. Okay, the 4th need here is the need for love and connection. And that's what we are essentially doing in our meetings, right? We are looking to connect with people. We are looking to, for some people, they call it networking, to connect, to feel like we have this community of people who are there to support us, who are there to encourage us to achieve bigger things, to be there for us, to share with us how we can improve and we can all grow together as a community, right? So that is where these first 4 needs, certainty, uncertainty, certainty, variety, significance, and love, are what we call the survival needs. We need to have this, or some people may call it personality needs. We need to have this, must. The next 2 are the ones that are bigger. Okay, it's the next level of needs. So growth is in a sense that, you know, we want to feel like we are expanding. We not physically, yeah, maybe some people are, but we want to feel like we are growing. We are exploring new experiences. We are feeling new things. We are gaining new abilities. We are picking up new skills. We are growing. Bored people who are bored, they don't have regular elements of growth in their life. And because of that, when they feel like, hey, I'm stagnant, I'm plateauing, I'm not growing, that's where they start to become inactive. That's where they start to ghost, disappear. Okay, so we all need to have inspiring goals. We need to have something to strive for, something to look forward to. And that is really part of our everyday life. If not, if we don't have it, it's just going to slow us down. We are all going to feel unmotivated. Okay, so for me personally, during my tenure as a Vice President of Membership in NTU Toastmasters, I had one member in particular who joined and then ghosted the club completely. And at that point, we were meeting every single week in the school club in NTU. So I kept seeing her, and we were in the same class together from time to time, and I kept seeing her around, and I kept, you know, asking her, hey, you know, why are you not coming for Toastmasters? And then she's like, you know, I'm busy lah, you know, I got this and that. There's always other things that are coming up before Toastmasters, right? So what I did was this. I spoke to her. I got a feel of what she wanted out of Toastmasters. A particular role. And at that point, I gave her the SA role, right? The Sergeant at Arms role. Okay, I'm seeing that my connection is unstable. I just want to check if you can still hear me and see me. Yes? Can you all hear me and see me? Yes? Okay, Keen, thank you very much for that. Okay, so what happened in that episode was that it was cut off a little bit earlier. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you can hear me clearly now. Okay, so what happened was that she ghosted, right? She just went missing. She did not come for meetings. So I gave her the SAA role. And because she had that SAA role and I guided her through that process of, you know, how to start the meeting, you know, how to take charge and all of that, she started to feel that level of growth. And when she had the opportunity to speak every single meeting, she started coming every single meeting. And it's the little things like this, you know, just figuring out what is it that people want and giving it to them. Just like that. Okay? Growth. The last need here, which is contribution, is this. If you want to be happy, make someone else happy. If you want to be happy, make someone else happy. Right? We all have this inner aspiration to make our lives better, to make the lives of other people better. Because contribution really is a substantial... Thank you, Peter. The internet ghosted for us for a while, right? Just now, totally, yes. I hope the internet is back, yeah? Okay, so contribution is a substantial intrinsic drive of any consciously driven individual. So we want to feel like we are adding value to the people around us. We want to feel that we are being cared for. We want to feel like we are being engaged in higher levels of involvement. And this is where mentorship comes in. And I don't want to touch on mentorship at all because we had a crazy high value segment from Suchan just now. So you get the drive, right? You get the drift. You get where we're going with this. Okay, so these are the 6 needs that our members needs. 6 needs that our members needs. Okay, you get it. Okay, so we always want to find out what is it that our members want and give it to them. Be it growth, be it variety, be it a connection, be it contribution, figure out why they're here and give it to them. Okay. The next piece of retention, like what I mentioned just now, is to celebrate all wins. Find a reason to celebrate. Find a reason to be happy. Find a reason to, you know, just find a reason to celebrate anything. Okay. So for example, when you have a new member, spotlight them. Because as a new member, as they're coming in, they may feel, you know, oh, you know, I'm a new member. I don't know much. You know, I'm still figuring out what all these things are about. Spotlight them. Okay. Be it on your social media, during the meeting, spotlight them and ask them these 3 key questions. Who are they? Help them to introduce themselves to the club. Why did they join Toastmasters? What is their key goal? What is their ambition? Or what is their, what is it that they want to achieve? Why did they join Toastmasters? And why did they join your specific club? Okay. Spotlight them. Give them the chance to be in the front. Because as new members, what they tend to do is to take the back seat. Sit in the back, observe first. No, push them up front. Okay. Even during meetings, get them to say a couple of words if that's possible. Do that, right? To get them acquainted and comfortable with speaking in front of an audience. Okay. What are other wins that we can celebrate? We can also celebrate pathway recognition. Okay. We can also celebrate every level. So this was done by Eric, if I'm not wrong, recently when I achieved my certificate of proficiency in one of my learning pathways. So this is something that is a great confidence boost, or it's good to do, to recognize the efforts of your members. During my tenure in Nisun East Toastmasters Club, every single month, we always catered 10-15 minutes or so, a segment to give away certificates to our members for every single level of pathway accomplishments that they have achieved. Whether it's a level 1 achievement, give it to them. Level 2, level 3, and so on. This actually not only makes them feel recognized, right? The members who have achieved that certain level, not only does it make them feel that we are recognizing them for their efforts, but it's also evidence that they are making progress. It is also proof to the rest of the members that, hey, you too can achieve these things. Help them to see that, hey, there are certificates. Some people are driven by certificates. Give it to them. Right? Acknowledge their achievements. Find anything to celebrate. Another thing that we can do is contest recognition. Okay, so on top of posting all of these accolades or all of these achievements on your social media, you can also consider presenting them or highlighting, spotlighting them during your chapter meetings. Not only to congratulate the member, but also to encourage your other members that, hey, you can participate in contests as well. So when your next contest comes around, you don't need to do so much begging. Okay, this was one of my takeaways from Sutan's sharing just now. Create this system, right? So that everything else kind of ties in. So you don't have to do this beggar's job. Okay, so create this whole encouraging, conducive environments for your audience, for your members. Okay, even if your members don't progress to the next round, don't forget them. They have put in the effort. They may not have placed in a certain contest. That's okay. Take time to recognize them, encourage them, appreciate them, because all of this is growth. Okay, all of these are different steps of growth. Okay, and then the last piece here that I want to talk about is camaraderie and friendship. Okay, because a lot of us are here in Toastmasters, not just for the growth, not just for the learning, but also for the friends that we have gathered along the way. Right? The friendships that we have forged along the way. Okay, so what I can suggest to you right now, because everything is online, of course, only when it's safe, is to take it offline. Take it offline, right? So not all our meetings are online, so we want to take it offline. Essentially, what I mean by offline doesn't mean only meeting in person, but what I mean is really keeping in touch with your members outside of Toastmasters matters. Right? If you look at your WhatsApp chats of your conversations with your members, are they only Toastmasters stuff? If they are, consider, basically you just want to be friends with them. Right? I have seen some other clubs, like for example, Tampines Changkat, they go for walks with their members. Maybe later Suchan can share a little bit about this as well. But essentially we want to be friends with our members. They are not just a member, they are our friends as well. Be it offering to help them in matters outside of Toastmasters, but of course, be safe, right? Especially now in this whole situation. So we want to stay safe as well, but be a friend, right? We are not just here as a Toastmaster, but we are also here to build this whole camaraderie and this whole culture that we have in this Toastmasters community. Okay, so before I come to a close, I just want to do a quick recap of everything that we have shared. Okay, I know it can be a lot to absorb in this short duration of time, and I wish I could go into more details, but here's what we have. Here's a quick nutshell of what we have covered today. Okay, so 3 components: attraction, interviewing, and retention. Okay, so how do we attract? Shared with you about this bigger economy blueprint, whereby we don't want to just focus on that top 3% who are ready to buy, okay, or ready to join you in your Toastmasters movement. But we also want to kind of nurture the rest of the 97% of people, to nurture them up, to bring them up in the pyramid. Okay, the insider code: how do we get a feel of what's going on in the minds of our prospect members? What are the challenges that they're facing? You know, what do they want to achieve? What are their goals? And then the authority building framework, whereby we kind of bring them on a journey from their current state to their desired state. What are the little steps that they can take? Okay, second thing, the interviewing process. We want to first get to know them, ask them a lot of questions, share about your club, and of course bring it to a close, whereby there will be objections and things like that. During this interview process, if you realize that you are doing most of the talking, then something is wrong. Okay, basically in the first 50% of the conversation, it should be them sharing about them sharing about their challenges, their goals, and things like that. Only then you can use their context and kind of customize this journey for them. Okay, and the third component, which is what we just talked about, retention. Know the wheel of needs. These are the 6 things that people need. Celebrate all wins. Okay, don't think that any sort of win is too small, is too insignificant. No, celebrate everything. And of course, we want to create a camaraderie, a friendship that is not only within the Toastmasters community, but also as friends. Okay, so I hope that this has been insightful to you. Take what is relevant to you and your club. Take what is important in your own definition, and apply it to your club. With that said, thank you very much, and back to you, Eric.
Mute.
Eric, we cannot hear you.
Hi, Eric. We can't hear you.
Mute. It's a mute.
Eric, why don't you try logging off and logging on? We can't hear you.
All right. Now, in the meantime, while Eric is logging back in, I'm very sure that there were a lot of questions. This was a very informative and I think practical sessions by both our trainers. Can we first give them a round of applause, please? Yeah.
Oh!
And let's continue that applause as Eric Tan comes into the room. Where's that man? The man is here? Eh? I thought he just came in. Yes. Let's give him a round of
Toastmaster,
applause.
Can you hear me and can you see me clearly? Thank you very much.
Eric.
Yeah, right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I was just about to say that we can never hold water with a leaking bucket, and that was what was demonstrated to us by Amelia. You see, a lot of times we misunderstood because we always often hear that recruitment and retention. So recruitment must be before retention. But the most important thing that we have to understand is actually retention is the most important thing. A lot of times club focus too much on recruitment that they forget about their own members. And every time they'll find it harder to recruit more members because their current members are always leaving because they don't feel cherished. So we should all consider, after listening to what Amelia and Shuchen has said, to instead of saying recruitment and retention, we should say retention and recruitment. I think that will be best for our club. Don't you agree? So I know we have a lot of questions here. Many of you have put their questions in the chat group, which I appreciate. Now is the time for Q&A. What I would do here is I will answer those questions first because they have asked it previously. And then if you have any questions, you can either use the raise your hand emoticon, you can type it in the chat group, or you can simply unmute yourself. Now, if you want to do it on a verbal basis, I would appreciate it. Let's do it in a formal do it more formally, whereby you can first introduce yourself and then state which club you come from and then ask your question. For example, you can say, hi, my name is Eric. I'm from AIA Toastmasters Club. I would like to address this question to Shu Zhen. And then you proceed to ask your question. Okay, so this will be the way that we have our Q&A. So with that, let's go into the Q&A segment right now. Now, the first questions that we have is actually from our Division A Director, Si Ying. Thank you for gracing our workshop with your presence. We really appreciate that. And her question is actually directed to Shu Zhen. She asked, Shu Zhen, it seems that Chief Mentor role has a few overlapping roles with Vice President of Membership. Do you recommend us assigning Vice President Membership as the Chief Mentor of the club? What do you say, Shu Zhen?
Thank you, Si Ying and Eric, for reading out the questions. Thank you, Si Ying, for the question. So personally, the first thing I need to say is it doesn't mean every club needs to appoint a chief mentor role. It really depends on whether your club sees the need of it. Typically, the chief mentor role that I'm doing is under, in my opinion, is under the purview of the VPE. That's why I report to the VPE when I was a chief mentor, because mentorship assignment, mentor system is basically under the VPE. And as part of the role, you see, VPE also will be the one doing normally enrollment interview, finding out the needs, right? So technically, I would say it's actually we take out a portfolio under the VP and then we gave it to the chief mentor for my club because we felt that the VP is overwhelmed with a lot of duties. And this mentoring is of top priority. We want to make sure that is being addressed immediately and it takes time to build the system. That's why we had a chief mentor role. So you can consider perhaps the VPE if you don't have anyone, but personally, I recommend taking a member who is experienced, could be a past leader of the club, who has perhaps run the club as a VPE or very familiar with the running of the mentorship system to be the chief mentor if you want to appoint one. And why did I say take one person outside of your exco? Don't you think that exco have a lot of things to do already, guys? You want to overload them and take another. You just saw what Amelia shared, right, about the VPM must do this. I'm not so sure the VPM can do this, really. So what I would highly recommend is find someone with a past experience, perhaps a senior in the club that has not been very, don't not say very active, but has not been really taking on roles for a while. You want to engage them. Remember, Amelia also talked about engaging the members. You want to make them feel valuable, feel that, hey, you got a lot of expertise, knowledge. We want you back. Can you help us take on the chief mentor role? Use your expertise, help us to build this system. And by doing so, right, it's a one stone kill two birds. First, you have a mentorship system built up. Number two, you make the member feel very good. So you see, what we do in Temis Shankar is the chief mentor role is likely going to be one of the senior members as we hand it down, because we want to engage them, use their expertise, and they also have the knowledge and expertise to run this. So that's what I would recommend. I hope I answered that question. It would be someone outside of the exco, but with some past experience as a leader. Yeah.
Thank you, Shu Zhen, for that answer. And I believe you have answered Si Ying's question because she showed a love sign to you. Okay, so the next question is from Rebecca. Okay, she also want to address this question to Shu Zhen. She asked, how do you keep track of the mentorship program? Do you have regular mentorship review with the mentors?
Thank you, Rebecca, for the question. Frankly speaking, the last 2 years, it was very ad hoc basis because remember, my focus was very focused on building the system. So last 2 years, what I did, I will tell you. First year, I built the system, the 9-step, I trained. And what I did, I want to make sure the mentors are applying it. So I did a very tedious process. Before every chapter meeting, a few days before that, I will take a look at the program that's sent out. I'll identify those new members that is under my members listing with a mentor. I'll text the mentor, I'll text the mentee. So I'll text the mentor to ask, hi guys, so-and-so, have you already, your new member, this person, mentee is actually speaking or doing an appointment role. Have you actually run through it with them? Just to check lah. And if they say, yes, I've met up a few days ago, perfect, brilliant guys, you're doing a very good job. Then I suggest that maybe send an encouraging note to them. You're like, oh, you're doing your speech 2 days later, good job. Keep it up. If you have any questions, let me know. So I wanted them to do more encouragement. So that's one thing. For the first year, I did that. Why? Because I want them to slowly get used to the system. The second thing I also did is I text the new member as well. It's like checking on the mentor, right? Oh, have you met the mentor already? Did he help you to explain the role or the objective or how to do the speech? And then the person will reply me, right? And that was when in that particular case, remember I told you, I shared that this young member couldn't relate to the senior member. And that's how I found out, because the person every time asked me the question instead. So I realized something is wrong after 3 projects. So I asked him, what's going on? And then I found out that he couldn't relate to the senior because it's too big a gauge, a big generation gap. So that's how I technically spot some of the problem in the system, and then I fine tune it along the way. So that's the first year. Second year, I stopped because I realized after a while, everybody is doing it already, because they will tell me, yes, I'm doing. The member also say, yes, my mentor did it. So I stopped already. So second year, I focus a lot on training and skill upgrade. And this year itself, the current chief mentor, Haider, will be focusing on the quarterly coaching sessions to emphasize that, whatever skill set we have done last year, this year he's going to go through the application, and this is where he will do the check-in with the mentor on a quarterly basis. So because the system takes time to build, last 2 years is more ad hoc. Now we're going to have a system of quarterly check-in by the current chief mentor. Yeah, so I hope that has answered you how Damage Shankat is doing the process. We're going to have coaching session quarterly for our mentors on the subjects that we had touched in last year, and as well as checking on them, do they face any challenges in the mentoring process. Then we'll address that.
Thank you, Shujan, for that answer. Okay, our third question is actually addressed to Amelia. Amelia, you mentioned about assessment, right? Assessing the prospect is to interview them. So the question here by BSIM, okay, is to interview them via Zoom or WhatsApp video call, is video interview really more effective than Google Form, in your opinion?
Okay, very good question. Thank you very much, Bisim, for that question. Personally, in my personal experience, I feel that when you have a personal connection, it's better, right? Because they're able to see you, they're able to feel your vibes, they're able to see how you carry yourself, and all of these things actually play a part in the branding of your club. So yes, Google Form gets the same job done, sure, right? But oftentimes when somebody gets to talk to someone, gets to feel the vibe and hear you, feel you, that is when people gain trust better, more easily. So if our short answer for that is, my personal experience is video is still better. I personally prefer Zoom because it has that more formal approach to this whole conversation, but I guess video call works as well. It's just a matter of preference. Hope I answered that question.
Eric, can I also add on?
Yes, sure.
And the other thing about Google Form is because remember I did also survey and feedback for my training workshop. I realized they are very bad, because bad in the sense that you only get a direct answer, but you don't get to prompt the person further in their response. So you really want to, in an interview, be able to, based on what they say, and prompt them further. And I think that really helps when you have either a WhatsApp call or Zoom call, when they say something, and sometimes you realize that, hey, there's something that you want to ask further. And that could be the deciding factor why this person is eventually going to join you. Because you ask that question, they tell you the answer, you know how to use their words back to get them to join you. So I thought that would be better as well.
Thank you very much, both of you, for the answer. I hope it answered to your question, Bisim. So the fourth question also goes to Amelia. This question is from Grace. So Grace asked, will the prospect member feel awkward if he or she has to go for interview before he or she decides to join the club? What do you say, Amelia?
Great question, Grace. Okay, so first of all, you don't want to brand it as an interview. You don't want to say that, hey, before you join the club, we need to interview you. Or because, the word interview itself has that, oh my God, do I need to wear nicely? Do I need to come look like Terrence? What do I need to dress to come on the call? Especially they know it's a video call, right? So we definitely don't want to tell them that it's an interview, right? You just have to tell them, let's get on a call. It's going to be a conversation. I just want to find out a little bit more about, what you want to achieve. In fact, what you can tell them is just tell them that, hey, let's get on a call so that I can share with you a little bit about how Toastmasters can help you. You don't have to tell them specifically what you're going to ask, what you're going to say. It's not an interview. But when you get on the call, importantly, like what Sujan mentioned, right, the very first step of that 9-step system is to build rapport, right? To build that connection, build rapport, relationship with this new prospect member. So don't come from the angle of course, if you tell them, hey, it's an interview, for sure, 100% plus chalk plus signature, they will feel awkward. Okay, so don't even use that word. Interview scares people, right? So just tell them it's going to be a conversation, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Usually for me, the conversations last between 10 to 15 minutes, and that's it. So they don't feel that level of pressure.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have two follow-up questions. One is from Siying, to follow up to Shu Zhen. She asks, what is the mentor KPI? Example, will mentors be responsible for ensuring mentees finish their pathway levels, completion, etc.? What do you say, Shu Zhen?
Okay, I don't really have a KPI for the mentors because in the first place, different people join Toastmasters for different reasons. I think I'm sure Amelia has covered some of that as well. So if a mentee joins a club, for example, for networking purposes, he just needs his mentor to bring him around. What KPI are we talking about here? He just wanted someone to bring him around to get exposure, to meet people, to join other clubs meeting, to learn. There's no KPI involved. So I feel that at the end of the day, a mentor is a good mentor if the mentor is able to assist the member who on his whatever reasons or goals that he wants to achieve. And that makes the person, I feel, a good mentor already. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's the criteria in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Shu Zhen. And also a follow-up question from Becca. Becca asked, what are some of the best practices for new chartered club in terms of mentorship program that you can advise them on?
Okay, personally, I thought this question is best answered by Eric Tan actually, because okay, here's the thing: if your club has some established history, like my club with people with experience, it's easy for us to build a system like that because we have established experienced mentor who can build a system. But like what you're saying, a new club with completely nothing, the best way is actually refer to pathway, because according to Eric, he told me that pathway after level 2, members can actually sign up for this, not sign up, but they can actually do a mentorship program. But honestly, I never did it. So the best person, Eric, can you shed some light for this? Because really he's the best person in this for me.
Okay, Becca, to answer to this question is very simple. If you want to have a mentorship program for new charter club, that's why in the division, we have our club growth director, we have our division trainers around, whereby you just go to them, okay, look for James, look for his team, and they will design based on, by asking you more, by finding out more about your club, and they will design something especially curated for your club per se. And I think that will be the most effective way that you can find. Yeah, so this is one of the ways that you can consider as well. Okay, the final question, because in the interest of time, all right, is for the both of you, okay, both trainers. One of the participants asked, my club has members who refuse to do any speeches despite having started a year ago. And somehow my mentors are unable to push them. So how do we get them moving? How do we get them to be more active? So what do you two trainers have to say? Maybe we start with Amelia.
Okay, cool. So I like to have this 4-step system. Okay, whenever participation or engagement is lacking, 4 things. The first thing that I usually go to is go back to their why. Why are they even here? Right? Why did they even join Toastmasters? Why are you renewing your membership fees? Why are you paying XX dollars for what? What is it that they want to achieve, right? And that leads me to the second point. What is the goal? They know where they are at right now. Have they already achieved their goal? Maybe for some reason they have already gone in the, like what the whoever this person asked question, they have gone through the Toastmasters journey, right? They have gotten some sort of experience, they have gotten some level of learning. Are they already where they want to be? If not, what is the new goal? Some people, they have goals, but they just don't know it, right? Or they just like assume, okay, every time they attend meeting, they are learning. But what is that goal that they want to achieve? Okay. The third thing is challenges. Maybe for some people, yes, they have a goal, but they have certain challenges. Like for example, in my club personally, I have a few members who are quite senior, who are like, you know what, it's a Zoom meeting. I don't want to learn how to use Zoom. Don't use Zoom or not? I wait until we can meet back at CC. So maybe, yes, they know their why, they have a goal, but they have some challenges that is holding them back from participating or from engaging. So we need to figure out what is that challenge and see how we can then help them, maybe to teach them how to use Zoom or whatever their challenge may be. And then the last piece is limitations. Maybe for some reason they have certain limitations in terms of time or limitations in terms of money, right? So basically what we want to do is bottom line, we need to have a conversation with this member one-on-one, not in a group setting, one-on-one, and really figure out and drill deeper into what is their goal. What is their why first? What is their goal? What are the challenges they're facing and any limitations? And then from there, as the EXCO member or as a member itself, we can kind of guide them through and see how we can then best serve such a member. Hope I answered that question. Sultan, over to you.
Wow, Amelia, you gave a perfect answer. I also don't know what else to add on. But okay, just to add on, I mean, I think Amelia covered almost everything that I wanted to say. But like, I want to say one thing, and that is a lot of clubs leaders sometimes focus a lot about, I need the members to do speeches. But at the end of the day, you need to ask, what do they want? It's not what the club officer want, what the VPE want. It's about what the members want. So for example, I had this member many years ago in AIA Changi. He's a bit of half blind because of glaucoma. So he attends our meeting every week, renew our membership every year. And the only year he didn't renew was because he retired from AIA, frankly speaking. For many years, he was a member. And I noticed that he always sit at the back of the meeting, refuse to do anything, don't take appointment role, don't want to do speeches. So I asked Fernando Young, my advisor then, say, hey, why this guy joined Toastmasters? For what purpose? Then he tell me, he just want to, sit in and learn only because he got a lot of time. So he just want to, in a place where there's a lot of, he can hear, he can learn, he can listen, and he enjoys that fellowship. That's it. He doesn't want to learn doesn't want to take part in anything. So from then on, I stopped asking him anything to do appointment roles. Whenever I talk to him, I just have a chit chat with him because I know that that's not why he joined the Toastmasters. So I think Amelia covered that. So know that there are people who join for networking purposes. People join for building confidence. Some people just join because they are so free. They wanted a place where they can spend some time talking to people. I know of people who are like that, really. So find out that. And if your club has not had this conversation, you really want to go back to have that conversation to like, hey, why did you join? And for some of the senior members, like, I know I was one of them that they say I don't want to do LE and I don't want to do speeches since my DTM. Because my focus, if you have a conversation as a VP with me, you realize that my focus is not about contest anymore. It's not about speaking. My focus is how can I build the club further, raise leaders for the club, and contribute back to Toastmasters. That's my self-actualization goal. So you force me to do speeches, it's not going to make me feel any better, you know what I mean? So you need to have that conversation with the senior member. So like one of them, a member in the club, also distinguished Toastmasters, don't want to do speeches once. But she renewed every year and asked her the same question, why did you renew? She said, I love the fellowship in the club. I love the members, that's it. So what can I say? As a VP, I couldn't get her to really speak, but I know she loved the club. So guess what I did? I asked her to do LE. I asked her to do workshop on LE. I asked her to serve the club again as SAA last term. And she is one of, we call her Your Majesty. And I got her to serve the club again. So ladies and gentlemen, if you know what the person really wants, that is easy. You don't have to force them to do speeches one. That's one thing I want to emphasize. And in addition to Amelia, besides asking them what they want, right, you also go deeper by asking, why is this important to you? This is a super important question. So if a person says, I want to build confidence, why is this important to you? I want to be a better speaker. Why is this important to you? And then you realize that by asking this simple question, suddenly you realize, because I need to help my sales and whatever. From there, I anchor it, align it with their goals. So if this is your reason, what do you think you need to do next? I let them answer themselves. Okay. So if you say practice, right? So where is the best place to practice? Toastmasters, right? It's a safe environment. So they will find out that, they answer their way all the way to they realize I need to do something myself. So that's one way, by using questions to lead the person to understand that this is the step I need to do. You don't have to force them, give them the answer. You lead them to the answer themselves. And that's what people who coach them, our coaches, do as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Susan and Amelia. And Peter, I know you have a question, but I'm sorry, due to the interest of time, we will take it offline, shall we? After this workshop, we'll be sure to answer your question. For those of you who wish to stay back after that, do join us. I'm sure our speakers will be more than happy to stay back for another 10 to 15 minutes to answer some of your questions. Okay, first off, let's once again put our hands together to thank our two awesome speakers, awesome trainers. You have learned so much from the both of them. This 2 hours is indeed well invested. And if there's one line that I can take away from this is, or to offer to all of you, is knowledge is like paint. It does no good until it's applied. Okay, so apply what you have learned in this workshop. And today, we are also very thankful that our division director has graced this event with her presence. If it may, I would like to invite her to say a few words. Let's put our hands to welcome our Division G director, proficient in strategic relations, Toastmaster Margaret Lowe.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. It is my privilege and my honor, my pride and joy, Division G. So it's only right that I'm here this afternoon to support our fabulous, terrific two speakers. Fellow Toastmasters, much has been taught today. I guess, and I'm certain, much has been learned also. But I remember this quote by a very reputable and respected trainer. He says, "Let not your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action." Fellow Toastmasters, we have garnered so much, a wealth of knowledge this afternoon. Take it, modify it, bring it back to your club and apply it and make it work, and come back again to share with us your success story, every single one of them. In parting, I leave this with you. Fellow Toastmasters and leaders in your own right, through your thoughts, innovate your processes. Through your deeds, extend your hand of friendship. And through your words, uplift your souls. And this is a tagline for Division G this term, revival of the mind, body, and soul. Take this and spread it. Spread the good news to all our friends in the club and beyond. With that, I hand the time back to the Toastmaster of the Day. Have a fabulous afternoon.
Thank you so much, Division Director, for your insightful sharing. Now, if you love this workshop by Division G and Division S, note that we have more workshops coming up in the pipeline, and the upcoming one will be the Leadership Incubator on the 23rd of October. If you want to know how to be an effective leader, an efficient leader, and of course, an inspiration leader, you won't want to miss that workshop. Before we end, we would like to acknowledge the people who put this workshop together. Without them, we can't even have such a successful workshop. Let us put our hands together to thank, first of all, our timer, Toastmaster Chow Wei, for ensuring that we are all slightly on time. Thank you so much. Okay. At no fault of yours, it's a speaker's fault. It's also my fault. The second, we would like to put our hands together to thank our Zoom master, Oscar. You have done this job phenomenally. Thank you so much for helping us get through this workshop smoothly. And finally, before we go, I think it's only right we have a closing address by our Division G Club Growth Director, distinguished Toastmaster James Clifton, and it's Eric Tan here from AIA Toastmasters Club signing off as your Toastmaster of the Day. The stage is yours, James. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eric. Can we please give Eric a round of applause, please? Lots of love to Eric. It takes a lot for a person of his stature to be willing to support, and he's been doing this for years, my friends, and we hope for many more years to come. It is never too late to be who you might have been. I think that is the essence of today's workshop. My friends, we need to start developing that blueprint that our speakers have been sharing. We need to customize our blueprint. Speak to your club members. If you have a new club, speak to your area directors or even your council. We are all here to support you. At Division G, we want to grow, we want to build that community, and we recognize if we want to succeed, we need to build that sustainable, evolving system that our trainers have been talking about. But it has to be based on your needs analysis as a club. What we have shared, what has been shared today may not work 100%. And I know as in Singapore, it is very common. Yeah, for your club can, no, my club, we got issues. But you see, that is the first line that we need to break, because that line says that we have a vested interest in our club and we want our club to achieve something with our members. To do that, we need to be vested. And Division G is that community where we are vested in your growth. I want to thank everyone for coming today to listen and to learn. I repeat, listen and learn, because the next step, like what our dear division director has said, we need to have an action plan. If you are unable to come up with an action plan on your own or with your team, do remember the support is always here, whether it's in your senior community, within the division, or your area council. Do not feel that we are not approachable. As Eric said, you want something done, just shoot an arrow, come. We are here for you and we will support. And the first thing I will tell you, if I don't know, I will admit it to you, but trust me, I will still support by getting the right people. And that is a Division G promise. With that, thank you so much. It is about 6 minutes after time. We will still be having after party where we will answer as many questions as we can. You want to dance, you want to whoop it up, it's also fine. It's a fabulous Saturday, and I must say, I've enjoyed this training tremendously. Once again, thank you everyone for attending. It's been a blast. Over to you, Eric. All right then, bye-bye. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Take care. I would say travel well, but we're all at home, so have fun at home.
You all want to take photo or not?
Oh yeah, how must take photo. You see lah?
You forgot the
Forget.
photographic evidence that everyone is here.
Okay, let's take photo.
I will take,
Zoom master can tolong, thank
yes,
you.
I want everyone to turn on the cameras.
Yes.
I'm turned on right now, man. Oh, camera,
Yeah.
sorry.
Turn on the camera.
Oh,
look
camera,
good.
okay.
Relax,
Camera.
brother. It's only Saturday afternoon.
Hey, still recording, cannot lah. Hey, I thought off recording already. Zoom master, please delete that last comment.